Hey again. So, decided Monday, Wednesday is gonna be Sky Factory, and then Friday is gonna be a little walk and talk thing until the weather changes or something happens that I can't do it anymore. We'll see. I've been having a few difficulties with Sky Factory. Nothing hugely major, but minorly annoying. So we'll see how long that lasts. Plus, it's like the same thing I've already done a couple of times over. It's just a different label. Some things I forgot to touch upon last video was my doctor's appointment. It was weird. Like most appointments I have are usually weird. Turns out that the strange rash I get on my hand on rare occasions is a mild form of eczema that actually runs in my bloodline. So there's that. Only reason I got that checked out was because it happened before, but it was always just like real super minor and went away in a day or two. But last time I got it, it lasted like a week and it spread a little bit further than usual. So I was slightly concerned because I didn't want anything long lasting to alter my appearance or inhibit my mobility of my hands. So I decided it'd be in my best interest to get it checked out. Apparently it's no big deal. I got something for it, so it was already healing up by the time the doctor's appointment came around, but it is what it is. The weird things I get on my neck, I thought was like ingrown hairs for shaving. Apparently it could be like infected hair follicle, so I got something for that. Two very minor, mostly annoyances and cosmetic problems should be fixed. But some of the bigger issues that I ran by are kind of just got danced around and swept under a rug. I couldn't get blood work done, which I wanted to get everything to make sure, like, I wanted to get the full tune-up. I only go to the doctor like once every 2 years if I can help it. So when I do, I want to get everything cleared and out of the way, but that didn't happen. I don't know if they're lacking a phlebotomist or they lost the licensing to draw blood. Not sure. Doesn't matter. Not that big of a deal. I'm not dead yet, so it's whatever. I ran past her I gained a little bit of weight. I'm like 190 pounds, which I usually ballpark of like 160 to 200. So it's not like I'm upset about it, but I'd like to be like a $180 and stay that way. But with my lifestyle, varying diets, and varying levels of exercise, I just do what I can. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not impressing anybody anytime soon, so I'm not too worried about it. Talked about the intermediate, arbitrary, sharp pains I get in the appendix and kidney region. She didn't seem to have much to say about that, so I'm not too worried about that either. Thing is, if it's kidneys, probably has something to do with the amount I drink, possibly. I mean, I'm far from an alcoholic. Drinking water today. Far from an alcoholic, but I probably drink more than some, so if it was a kidney issue, I could see that being a potential thing. And as far as a doctor's concerned, all they're gonna do is want some sort of dialysis treatment or tell me to drink more water and less particulate drinks like coffee and tea and alcohol. So, in which that might even have something to do with the liver. I'm not a doctor. I'm just very, very bare bones based knowledge. So, it's kind of what I go off of. Now, if it's an appendix issue, that can happen to anybody at basically any time, and it can be quite deadly. So, I mean, dying doesn't sound all that bad. Dying of septicemia, that sounds kind of like torture. So, if I could avoid that, I would rather, like I said, my dream at this point is just to go quietly in my sleep. I don't want to be writhing in pain for hours or days. So, septicemia does not sound like a good way of going. So I might get that checked out at some point. But other than that, everything's pretty peachy. Said my blood pressure was ever so slightly higher than, normal, I guess. Higher than it should be. But she said that's not really anything, everybody, most people have a slightly higher blood pressure or, some blood pressure fluctuation. She said it's nothing too out there, so I'm not too concerned about that either. I figure, I exercise more than most people. I do more things than most people. I do more good and bad than most people. So, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. If I could quit smoking, I'd do it. I'm thinking about I'm gonna try to work on it again. Probably gonna wait till after Halloween and just quit cold turkey. Don't do any. I won't do any drinking either for a while to see if I can curve that want to do it. The problem is, half the times I want to come out here, I almost always have to have a drink. I don't know why. It just, water today, but 75% of the time, I pick up a 6-pack or a 40, and I take a nice long stroll, and it's just what I do. And smoking and drinking kind of goes hand in hand, so it kind of shoots all that right in the keister. So yeah. Now what this episode's actually about, now that I covered what I wanted to cover from last episode that I kind of missed, what this episode's actually about is I spend quite a few of my episodes complaining about how crappy the world is and how crappy people are and how things should change. But I never really say, how. I never really give my honest opinion on how things could change to make things better. So, first off, before you say you have to change, before you expect someone else to change, there isn't much I can really change, to be honest. The best I can do is put my thoughts out there in some form, like a video, on the internet, and hope that someday somebody's like, oh man, that stupid weird drunk kid that walks in the woods all the time, man, he was right. And, hopefully something changes from there. In my standing, nobody really listens to me. I have no power. There is nothing I can change. Lead by example, yeah, but I don't do much that I look down on, besides smoking, but they call it an addiction for a reason. So, before we get too into it, and anybody blasts the comments saying, well, you should do this if you want to change, or you should do that if you want to change. Change requires motion, and my mobility is being inhibited by something. So, I'm not popular enough to use that to inspire change. Not enough people in my town respect me for me to provoke a change. So the best I can do is hope there's enough like-minded people that eventually change will just happen because it's the right thing to do. I know. Crazy, right? Okay, so here's some of the things. It better not rain. It's cold out today. Now here's some of the things that should change. Hands down. Alright? We're going to start with some obvious things. First off, cigarettes. Cigarettes it's from what I was taught growing up, what I was told, they have very little to no benefit to the humans whatsoever. They should be completely abolished. Yeah, you have people smuggling them like drugs, like you do already. Yeah, I can see that being a thing. But you know what? If they're not sold on every corner of every street, I think a lot less people would smoke. So, boom. And to be completely honest, with the prices they charge, it might be cheaper if they start getting smuggled in. So yeah. Anyways, So, smoking, gone, bam. Should never exist. If it does nothing but hurt the human race, why does it exist? It shouldn't. Smart, easy, simple, gone. Next, as things progress, technology progresses, and the human race progresses, more things that were once a luxury are becoming a necessity, like a car, the internet. They were once a novelty. If you had a microwave or a television back when my grandmother was, 10 years old, you were a big shot. But now, every single person has a microwave. Every single person has a cell phone. Well, except me, because I'm weird. Well, that and it causes me more trouble than good sometimes. But, with that being said, these things that are becoming more imperative to the human race are being made by so many different people, companies, countries, areas, franchises, whatever you want to label it. Tons of different. The point I'm trying to get across here is like cars, computers, even as stupid as a microwave is being produced. Somebody was here again. Are being produced, and all these different things are all different name brands, and they all take different parts. So to repair one, or to price one, you have to go through a certain company. So it's kind of like their way of monopolizing a product that everybody has. And the simple solution is that instead of having 500 companies that make microwaves, have one company make 3 different sizes of microwave, all with corresponding parts, with all the best technology put together at one affordable price. Problem solved. What problems would this solve? Well, if this was applied throughout the entire world for most products, I mean, fashion and perfume, different stuff like that, whatever, you want to have 184 different colors of the same pair of shoes. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money and energy. But this ain't a dictatorship, so enjoy. Whatever. But if there was a car company that made one car, one motorcycle, one SUV, one pickup truck, one tractor trailer, and made all of them the same, all the same kind of parts, the best quality they could, and they could sell it all for an affordable price because they'd be the only company selling it. So they'd have this monopoly they want, but everyone would save money, and there'd be more of the spare parts to go around to repair anything that goes wrong. Now, what would you do with this extra money, you might be thinking? All these different people, now that they're saving, each household saving $10 on a microwave and saving $10,000 on each car, what's going to happen with all this extra money? So, you take this money, and you could, be happy. That could be a thing. Taxes could be slightly increased. We'll get into that later. But taxes could be slightly increased to compensate, spend more money providing jobs at repairing roads, old decrepit buildings, instituting more farmland, to feed more people, to abolish one of my other topics, high fructose corn syrup. It has very little benefit other than it's cheap. So, grow more cane sugar, could have one type of cell phone, and all the different cell phone towers could all be linked up to provide coverage to everyone everywhere. Everyone would get the same amount of bars unless you live on the peak of Mount Everest or, in a cave somewhere. Everyone would have, good coverage and bars, and it'd be a cheap, affordable phone where you could buy replacement parts because there's only, 2 or 3 styles or 2 or 3 functions that they sell. So, instead of having 100 different plans, you'd have, something that either one phone that excels at everything, or like a phone that excels at video and pictures, updated memory cards, maybe a phone that excels at Wi-Fi hotspots, and then maybe a phone that just more economical for like the casual user, like an old lady. So something like along those lines. Now, as I did put thought into this, I don't have any cue cards, and I might not always make sense of what I'm trying to convey here. But this is basically right off the top of my head, from my heart. This is what I believe. So, take it as you like. So, with people saving all the money, with everything being, more dictatorshipy, because everyone would be driving the same car down the road, and everyone would have to use the same phone. I can see how that could be, right away everyone would be like communist, but that's not the case. It's not what I'm going for here. Then the government. Let's get into the government. We'll change the topic. I think I got my point across. You consolidate everything, things would be easier to repair. It would lessen the amount of money rich people spend, but it would save a large amount of money for people that actually work for it, like, middle class, lower class. So it would give people that don't have the opportunity to buy things that are really nice more of that opportunity, but it would probably devastate the economy, because rich people would probably go on like this big tirade hiatus because they can't get their Mary Kay pink, Corvette with spinner lights, because, that's what they need instead of, helping somebody. Because they're like, hey, you know what, I donate $1,000, $10,000 a year to some random charity that I don't even know what it goes for, so I'm a good person. Yeah, okay. How about you actually help somebody? But anyways, so excuse me. So I think some of the jobs that would be freed up by doing this, we could appoint more qualified people to run a better system on like finances and taxes, and the money the government takes in that's supposed to be being used for certain things. We could have people to actually audit that, to actually make sure that money's being used for other things. I gotta tell you right now, half the money that these people are collecting ain't going where they say it's going. So, I mean, let's put it this way, with as much money as they're making, as many taxes and all that crap, there'd be a lot more fixed, in my opinion. It seems like it's always I see road construction, it always seems to be some frivolous, 16-man team for a single pothole, and then they call it a day for the year. I mean, who are they helping? Where's that money going? I'm not too adept at how the government works. I'm not too adept on where the taxes go or how things play out. And all I know is I live my life, I travel through the town, I see what workers do, I see things around me, and there's a leak somewhere. Like there's something wrong somewhere. These people there are obvious problems that need to be repaired, but they're doing other things, and I can't quite, it does not quite compute. So, before you'd say, like, doing this would devastate the economy and devastate the jobs, there are ways to finagle and sublimate that? I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but you get the point. You would get more people, you'd have to raise the taxes to pay more people, to audit the government, to see that the taxes are actually going, place those taxes where they need to go, make sure homeless people are, first off, qualified to actually be homeless. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean by that? So, like, someone's homeless and wants help, they should be given opportunities to repair their life. They should be given opportunities. There should be a section for that, I guess. So that could be a job, and that takes very little. That takes very little. You know, anybody that could go out and get their own job, any person that could go out and get their own car or their house, could help somebody else do it. It's not rocket science. So they should be given, like how children are given caseworkers, in a sense, to diminish the homeless population. Bam, they all get jobs, more working force. If they could pick up a shovel and dig a hole, they can help plant crops. To go back to my previous topic of getting rid of tobacco and high fructose corn syrup. So yeah, I mean, if you really sit and think about it, it all makes sense. I need a freaking drink, man. Water today. See, I say it's water, but it's secretly vodka. I'm just kidding. It's water. I can't guzzle vodka like that. Not anymore. I'd have atomic levels of heartburn. So those are some things, there's some simple things I would change, you know, that would snowball into an effect that would help everybody. My opinion is that throughout, if each town was sanctioned off, not like walled off like, you know, Trump building a $60 billion wall to find a way to keep Mexicans out or some crap. I'm talking like metaphorically. If each thing was bordered like towns, like they kind of are in a sense, and they had somebody to, you know, take a census to get like a population, which kind of exists, and, you know, everything was checked and balanced in a sense. So, like, let's not go as far as saying homeless people. Let's say things like an office worker, what are those people that call people for telemarketers? Let's say a telemarketer. I'm not sure what they make an hour, but I'm sure it's probably equal or more than somebody that works at a fast food restaurant. So I'm actually going to guess more, probably 50% more at least. So yeah. So I'm pretty sure, you know, we'll use those as an example. Somebody that has a desk job that makes minimum wage is what, $10.25 an hour or something like that? I don't know. I haven't done work in a while. Not like official work. So yeah. So dude flips burgers 8 hours a day, gets yelled at by customers, gets yelled at by his boss, goes home to live his miserable life, and gets yelled at by his wife, and then has to deal with his screaming kids. And he's getting $10 an hour. This dude sits at his desk all day, playing solitaire on his computer, taking calls whenever they come in about the ShamWow product that either needs to be shipped out or returned. He goes home, he makes more money, so his life's a little bit better. His wife might not yell as much. His kids might be a little more satisfied with their Game Switch Nintendo DS 360 Optimus Prime gaming system. And so the point I'm trying to make is, you know, this person's making more money and dealing with less, and this other person's making less money and dealing with more. How does that check in? Like who was in charge when this got pushed through, you know? If anything, if you're at a desk job, it's not strenuous labor. There's no way you should be making more than anybody else. Like, desk jobs should be basically minimum wage. I can understand sitting at a computer all day can take a toll on your body as same as hard work can, in one sense or another. You know, eyesight, back problems, maybe leg problems if you're, or whatever, you know. But nobody says that they have to sit there. Nobody says that they have to sit there. Like, they don't have to sit in front of that computer. They could stand, I guess. I mean, why wouldn't they be able to? They could probably, I mean, with all the wireless crap, I don't see why they can't, you know, make laps around a freaking computer if they wanted to. So I mean, they're not restricted to that. And I think more desk jobs should go to people that have both the intellect and already have a mobility issue. If someone's in a wheelchair, due to, I don't know, birth defect, we'll say. We're not going to say, like, somebody that got into some sort of accident and is receiving some sort of compensation for it because it ruined their life. We're saying somebody that was, like, born that way and wants to be a functioning member of society. Why wouldn't they be taught to do a desk job? Like that just makes sense to me. Instead of having the 250-pound, you know, semi-bodybuilder that goes to the gym with all the extra money he makes, sitting at a computer all day when he could definitely be, you know, plowing a field or fixing a road, why not have the, you know, 200-pound chick born without legs to do the computer job? See, it's just, I guess, like, I wanted to be specific, and I wanted to be very specific on how and what I would say and do, and things that I see wrong with the world. But the truth of the matter is, if you're like me, if you're anywhere in a certain bracket of work, Jesus, a bunch of doves kind of scared me. But if you're like me, or you're anywhere in, like, the bracket of where I'm at, like, I mean, I have I don't know, I think it's more of a mindset rather than a social standing, maybe. A little bit of both, probably. But if you sit and you actually look, and you actually think, and if you're like, well, that doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect my family, it ain't going to affect my kids, wrong mindset, you know? We're a species. We should strive as a species. And I have been in places where I have had much more than other people, and I have been in places that I had much less than other people, and there wasn't too many times that I was like, get away from me, pleb. You know, it's mine. You know, it's not my problem. If I can help, within reason, I usually do so. So, I mean, I'm literally speaking from experience. So, I guess what I want is, you know, 150 years down the road, when people actually see this video archived somewhere, and they're like, wow, you know what, if that would have changed, if that would have changed 80 years ago, my kids probably would have been, you know, happy. But, you know, it took 150 years to change what is obvious. What I'm trying to get out of this video, I think my point, my game plan, my goal is sit and think. Like, actually think about the stuff that happens around you. Actually think about what people do, what people say, how some people act, and think, how is that benefiting or hurting the collective? Like, hive mind. You know, I don't know, like, everything I say kind of screams like alien tentacle monster controlling everyone's brains, but, or, you know, dictatorship. But honestly, it's just like, rules. It is. It pretty much is. It's pretty much what it is. I mean, there are already rules in motion that is basically a dictatorship. There is already principles, social norms that make this already a dictatorship. They should be alleviated. Like, my biggest problem, one of the ones that affects my life more than anything, that make me worry on occasion, is drinking in public. And I know, you're probably like, dude, this guy's a total drunk. And I'm really not. I'm really not. I'm just saying. Like, the reason this bothers me isn't because I need a drink in my hand 24 hours a day. The reason this bothers me is because I like to drink while I do things. I guess social drinking, I guess is what you'd call it, quite literally. And one of the rules that bother me is I cannot drink in public. Why? Like, freaking why? Because one or two people, or a group of people, messed it up for everybody. That's why. So, frat boy, college kid mentality, they're gonna go out, get drunk in the streets, punch in car windows. That's a problem. That's definitely a problem. Burn down houses. Whatever they do that's destructive, it is a problem. But why should I have my right to be in public whenever I damn well please taken from me because some moron can't control their liquor? Shouldn't they be, shouldn't those people be, punished? Not the guy that can walk through the woods drinking a 40 and not hurt a fly? That's just one of the things that really bother me, that makes me feel like this is already a dictatorship. It pretty much is. I mean, it pretty much is. It just, so apparently, talking about the former dictator with the funky mustache, starts with an H, apparently that's frowned upon, in a lot of places. I don't understand why, because there's a lot to learn from that. First off, if you think about what he did, I don't really think it was so much his train of thought. Kind of like our president today. It's not so much him. There's people controlling that guy. He's just the dude that's kind of like, he's the dude that's going to take the fall when everything crumbles apart. He's the dude that's going to take the blame. Yeah, he might get some of the glory too if things go right, but they're not his thoughts. They're not completely his thoughts. They're not completely his actions that are being pushed through. If you think about what the certain dictator that name shall not be spoken, or what does that say, Voldemort, he who should not be named, there's a lot to learn there. The same way you should, oh no, that is wrong. I was going to say the same way you should convince him to do good, but no, you should never. One of the problems of the world is fear-mongering. People controlling people using fear. It's a common problem. It's one I suffer from on occasion. But I can't really formulate the thought. I don't know. I'm trying to see. It's like Voldemort, Oh, he done great things. He done great things. Not good. I mean, there's no positive or negative connotation to the word great. It means something amazing. It doesn't mean it's good. It just means that it's spectacular, rare, hard for somebody to do. It pretty much means that somebody did something somebody else couldn't quite really do. In my eyes. Like, yeah, you can have it with a positive or negative connotation to make it seem like it's a good or a bad thing. I think it's a hunting blind. It's a weird place for it. I mean, I am in the woods, but that's a weird place for it. Where was I? I was actually already in the middle of completely seizuring out my topic. I don't want to bring up something so negative without finishing the thought. So then it makes me feel like I just did something bad without having a point. What was my point? There was a famous quote. I can't remember the quote. It was from Mr. Funky Stash. To truly institute a dictatorship and to strip a country or a mass of people from their rights, the easiest way to do it is little by little. And that's pretty much what's been happening to Americans for the last long time, really long time. I mean, I can't really give you a history lesson. That wasn't my strong suit. But having one person, them using an excuse for one person to ruin it for anybody, for everybody, is automatically wrong. That's punishing somebody innocent before proven guilty, but it's actually punishing the masses of anyone that partakes in drinking. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to get to. So that's why the world has to change. So I can drink beer in public. That is the main focus of this entire tirade. The whole thing. Everyone should start buying the same type of microwave, the same type of car, the same type of cell phone. They should put more money into taxes so that the world will change so I can drink in public. No, that's not really the point, but you get it. You understand what I'm going for. I mean, from my standpoint, the reason I'm starting to do videos like this, I guess it is kind of selfish. Because, half the reason I want these changes is because life shouldn't suck like this for anybody. Me or anybody else. And there are very easy, simple ways to fix a lot of things. You just gotta convince the right people to make it happen. And unfortunately, that's not gonna happen for a very long time. So I'm basically wasting my breath. But it gets me to circle back to my point and conclusion to make this almost sound professional. Wait, what was I talking about? Now, circling back to my point and conclusion to almost make this professional. I really don't know. I can't believe it. I really know how to ruin a good thing, don't I? Yeah, I don't know. In 1,000 years, hopefully people will see these and be like, man, that guy was right. And I hope they find my gravestone somewhere, or find whatever hole someone throws me in, and, bring me flowers. Or bring me a can of beer. Bring me some beer. Because I'm not going to be able to ever enjoy this in my lifetime. When these changes happen, I'm not saying if, when these changes happen, it's either sooner or later, it's going to go from one spectrum to another. It's either going to get really, really bad, or it's going to finally balance out and get really, really good for everybody. I'm kind of hoping for the latter, but, like I said, I won't be around to see it. So, if you guys see this, poor quality video screen that you're watching instead of the hologram that's going to happen 20 years in the future, 100 years in the future, whatever time in the future, and you're like, man, this guy was right, just bring me a beer or a six-pack, Just set it by my hole with my gravestone. And, tell me to enjoy it now because, completely wasted my life. Completely had my life ruined by various things in the world. And when you see this, I'll be dead. And at least you can revel in the fact that you did the right thing. 150 years too late. Alright. Later on.